Hi, I'm Billy Hartle. I'm here at Monster Energy Factory Yamaha and I work for Aaron Plessinger. Starting up front here on Aaron Plessinger's bike runs the Renthal 996 twin wall handlebars, and then Renthal grips as well to keep him comfortable on the bike. His handlebars on the Yamaha, he has them in the back position with the bar mount facing forward though, and the handlebars are just slightly rolled back, not too much. Probably a little surprising for maybe someone that tall, but a light speed makes us a nice switch here that's all inclusive with the start button, the map switch, and launch control all in one. Kind of just makes everything nice and neat. On this map switch, he can change maps whenever he wants to, and then launch control for right off the start. Supplies us with this little box on the front fender that allows him to see that launch control is on and what kind of RPM level he is at. Keeps the clutch lever kind of pushed in a little bit. A couple reasons. Number one, it's just a good feel for him where it's at, and secondly, it keeps the lever kind of away from the end of the bar for crashing and stuff like that. We don't want to worry about levers being broken. We make our own kill switch in-house for these things, just a little bit more durable to the conditions and water and things like that. And we also use a YRRD hydraulic clutch just for a consistent feel. As far as triple clamps go, they are stock standard triple clamps. We have factory KYB forks up front and also factory KYB shock as well. And then for braking, we use the braking company for rotors and all of his braking needs. We actually run a stock reservoir and caliper on this thing. For our fasteners on this bike, we use a lot of Medtech titanium. Some stuff we actually have made our own. Mounted to these KYB factory forks, we have a data sensor on there. It just lets us know how much travel he's using throughout the day, if we need to maybe make some adjustments to help him out on the track. For a hole shot device, he has a Pro Circuit hole shot device, 2 buttons actually. Normally Supercross, we have it pretty deep. We run the bottom one just to keep his front end down on the starts. And then we have the DID rims laced up to some kite hubs with Dunlop tires on them. We also lace those wheels with factory OW spokes and nipples for strength. We actually just run stock fork lugs with titanium axles in it, in-house made carbon fiber disc guard. On this bike we run stock standard radiators, but we have mounts to run a fan behind it in case if it is really hot or have a mud race or something like that. And then we have these carbon fiber guards on top of our shrouds that we've just made in-house to keep water from getting into the airbox, since the airbox is up top and up front, in case if there's any standing water, and also just protect everything up there. For the radiator cap, we go up to a 1.8 cap, just again for the temperatures that these bikes run at and stuff like that. Our Renthal grips are mounted on a aluminum throttle tube, stronger than the stock plastic one. Both guys run the same throttle tube, yes. The only difference in the front end controls on these two guys is just a different handlebar. Aaron runs a crossbar and Justin Barsha does not. Lever positions, things like that are just a little bit of a difference, but everything else up front is all the same. Yeah, Brian Kalma is our engine guy who builds these things in-house. All that stuff is done right there with GYTR heads, and then GYTR also supplies our ignition covers and our clutch covers, as well as clutch components. Just about everything in the clutch is standard, minus just the hydraulic system is about it. Our skid plate underneath also in-house, made along with those shroud guards and disc guard. We use a GET ECU and lets us read all the data on the bike. Run their data acquisition system so we know what's going on in the engines and make sure we know everything's running properly again, and also like I said on the suspension, and just we know pretty well what's going on with these bikes with all the GET software. Engine hangers are all just stock standard stuff. I mean, polished up a little bit is all. And then stock brake pedal, we do move where we put the brake pedal spring to allow us to get to the clutch and stuff easier and don't let mud pack in around that. We have really cool foot pegs and foot peg mounts that are also made in-house titanium. And then the grip tape on the frame is also cut out by Factory Effects for us, which makes life easy. And swing arm pivot is stock with a little plastic plug that we put in the end of it just to keep any mud from packing in behind the brake pedal and causing any problems there. We use a factory OW rear brake master cylinder, and the reason for that is it takes away the sight glass so that you don't have to worry about any breaks there or leaks. Brake pedals and all that stuff is in pretty well stocked position. Same with the foot pegs. On the other side, we have a Pro Circuit shift pedal that a little bit longer just for his feet, you know, get in there nice and easy. Yeah, Pro Circuit does our exhaust systems for us, particularly the way that we want it for our engines. It's a TI6 titanium exhaust system, and they did a really cool thing with making our carbon fiber blue exhaust tips on the end here. Keeps the bike looking fresh. The engines on these bikes are pretty much built the same way for the two guys. Both of them kind of like them the same way, but definitely know that they prefer some bottom out of the corners. They want to make sure they have everything they need to get out of those jumps that are right out of the corners. This bike is pretty well rounded as far as the power curve goes. They have it pretty much everywhere they need it. Subframes on these are stock standard actually. They don't need to move these ones at all. They're just stock, so that helps them out with comfort and not being too rear and high. For the rear brake system, we do use the stock rear brake hanger and brake caliper. Same with stock line as well. We have another cool carbon fiber piece that we have made in-house that is also just for protection, keeps anything from happening back there, along with the braking rear rotor, standard size. And our brake pads are stock pads, shave off the edge of the pad just to help for getting wheels on and off easy. And then linkages on these bikes standard, and they have options if they needed to make changes. But yeah, also on this rear factory KYB shock, we have data sensor on there as well to just track what's going on and make sure we're not getting too deep in the stroke. The rear wheel, we have the same thing in the front with DID rims on kite hubs with factory OW spokes, Vortex sprockets. For the axle through the rear wheel, it is actually just a stock rear axle modified in-house. And then the axle blocks on these bikes are also another item made in-house. We like to use a good sprocket ratio to keep the rear wheel a little bit towards back. Just handling and stability is a little bit better with the wheel in the farther back position of the swing arm. Just helps for control on the track. And then back underneath the fender here, we have a little plastic plug back there. It's just so that we can run a jump pack to the battery just to supply max power during initial startup. That way the battery is fresh and full power whenever it takes off from the line. Speed cell batteries are very good and very reliable to us, so we don't have any problems there. These seats are stock seats. He does kind of prefers them with a little bit of time on them, a little bit softer. He doesn't like to be too hard. Factory Effects supplies our seat cover. We run ribs all the way to the front just to keep good traction on the start, keep his body forward. Stock standard seat foam on there. Factory Effects keeps our bikes looking good with these graphics that we put on here. Factory Effects is pretty good with our graphics, makes them nice and thin, and removes any graphics that's not needed anywhere to keep weight down and things like that. KYB Factory Shock has a couple of extra adjusters you'll see on there just for a little bit extra fine tuning and easy to get to. The swing arm pivot has an aluminum nut on it, also made in-house. For the drivetrain, we use a DID chain. We use Lightspeed chain block guard in the back, OEM guides and rollers. And GYTR supplies us with our covers, the ignition cover and head. We also make a chain guard up front, which also kind of houses and protects that YRRD hydraulic clutch system that we talked about earlier. And on the Pro Circuit exhaust here, it's pretty cool how they put their emblem in between the chamber and the head pipe there. Mounted O2 bung in there for us just for the data sensors to get twin air filters on this bike to keep the air clean. We also supply a little net cover that you can put over your air filters. We use that sometimes depending on conditions. Sycra plastic on the bike. You'll notice that they're black this year. This front seat part here that the gas cap sits underneath, AP just runs it standard the way it comes. On Barsh's bike, you'll notice it's cut out a little bit. He just does that for a little bit of help on the start, so the seat can grip his pants and hold them up towards the front. And also in the fuel tank, we use our VP Racing fuels.